was pretty remarkable. But that leads me into the other point about that game is the play, right? We can just probably label it now as the play. I mean, everybody's going to remember it as the play.
Well, and I don't think it was that bad.
No, nor do I. I mean, as far as football statistics goes, with that defense that the Patriots lined up, and I mean, this is all post stuff now that we've all had time to sit back and relax. And your initial reaction is, what were they thinking? Why wouldn't they just hand it to Marshawn Lynch and pound in the end zone? But going back, looking at it now, logically speaking, he may have overthought the process a little bit too much, and maybe at the end of the game, you just go with your best, and if you lose with your best, you lose with your best. So maybe he tried to get a little too smart for his own good, but football-wise, it's not a terrible play.
No.
They have the goal line defense in, and then they're going to crowd the middle, and they're going to do a pick play, and he should be open. And and I remember saying just that night when the play happened, 99% of the time, two things happen to that play. It is either not complete or complete. It is never or very rarely intercepted.
Yeah.
So that's what they were thinking. They were like, worst case scenario, this is our free timeout. We have 2 more plays with a timeout. Then we can do whatever we want at that point. We can run it, call timeout. We can pass it again if we feel the defense says, pass or whatever. So I understand what he was thinking, but it's almost too smart for your own good. You can be too intelligent in that stuff, and I thought that maybe they overthought the process.
What about? And I want to talk a little bit about, just pardon the expression, the cojones on Bill Belichick not to call timeout.
Whew, man,
because think about this for a second. The clock is ticking down. Yeah. They are on the goal line. They do have Marshawn Lynch in the back. But the clock squeeze that Belichick put down on the thing, and now I see you got all these people saying like, oh, well, certainly the play wouldn't be an inside slant. Certainly the play would be play action to Marshawn Lynch and throw a fade in the end zone or do this or do that. But like, hey, y'all, the clock was ticking. They needed to call something, and they needed to call something quick, and they called a play that they are familiar with. Fortunately for Patriots fans out there, the Patriots were also familiar with the play. Clearly, it was a 10-yard jump that Malcolm Butler put on the play to make it actually happen. But they called a play that has one of 2 results. It's either incomplete or complete. It's rarely, if ever, intercepted. And for Bill not to call a timeout and just put that kind of squeeze on it, I mean, that's a heroic coaching effort.
It is, man. I don't know anybody else or any other coach who would have, sort of like you call them, the cojones to sit there and just watch the clock tick away and tick away. And he said after the game that he felt very comfortable football-wise with the situation that they were in.
Did you see the smile on his face?
Yeah, he had a little bit of smirk on his face. He was definitely
look that picture up.
I think he knew the Seahawks situation better than the Seahawks knew their situation, right? So he knew that they only had 1 timeout left. So a pass play had to happen at some point. He just forced it on that down, on 2nd down, as opposed to on 3rd or 4th. So he knows if he calls timeout, they can do whatever they want at that point. So he forced that pass play that if they didn't succeed on 2nd down on a run play, they were going to have to throw anyway. At some point, a pass play was going to have to happen, unless they score, obviously. So he knew that. He sat there and he waited it out. And I don't know anybody else who could wait it out. I mean, as a fan, I'm sitting there going, where's the timeout? Where's the timeout? Especially when Lynch was stopped at the 1 and there was still 1 minute and 5 seconds left or whatever the case may be, and the clock was going tick, tick, tick.
Right.
And it just, the thing that blows me away about the Patriots on a day-to-day basis, day-to-day or game-to-game basis, is how prepared they are for virtually every situation. And they very rarely lose the game on clock management, in-game decisions, in-game management stuff, and that's the stuff I think Bill Belichick exceeds with, and he puts people in situations, and Malcolm Butler even said after the game, he's like, I knew when they put stack receivers that they were going to run a pick play. Like, he knew what was coming, and not because he's a genius football player. I mean, he very well may be, but it's because of preparedness. It's because the coaches practice that stuff with these guys over and over, and they show them film and like, this is what it looks like. This is what their tendencies are. This is what they're going to go do, and everybody's on the same page. And isn't that remarkable?
Well, we heard that take by Bill Belichick talking to the defense, right? And he was saying, guys, there's no new plays. They're not throwing anything at you new. Do your job.
He goes, there's no mystery here.
That's what he said. There's no mystery
here. No mystery here. Just do your job.
And what was the first thing that Malcolm said after the game, which was just like, what was going through your mind? He goes, I knew exactly what they were going to do.
Yeah.